Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the nomination. It's an honor to be awarded and to be amongst all of the great folks that I've seen you guys recognizing. So thank you. I'm really excited to be here. I am an engineer by trade, mechanical engineering. So I am a STEM woman, a STEMinist, one might say, and have spent my career really focused on access and closing the gap in access in various areas through technology. During my career at GE, which was just a wonderful almost 20 years, I was focused on access to healthcare in the global health capacity, where I did a lot of my work internationally, more specifically in Africa, where I was able to close the gaps in healthcare through access to different technologies. I currently live out this passion for access for all through freedom in knowledge and information as the Chief Operating Officer at the Wikimedia Foundation, which is the organization that hosts the platform that I'm hoping many folks know as Wikipedia. We are one of the top 10 websites in the world, and we provide information to the world in the form of an online encyclopedia and also by way of Google and many other means. And so I'm really excited that I'm able to do inspirational work with my technology background. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is the diversity of teams. Having been a builder of teams to solve tough problems, I recognize the power of the diversity of voices being in a room and at the table to solve the world's problems. And so having done that, clearly a woman's voice on those teams is critical. Being a woman that has been overlooked and maybe not used in the most effective ways, I will say at times, I certainly have a passion for building both power teams and power teams with women. During my work at GE, I was the head of Women in Technology, which was an initiative that was launched by our then chairman, Jeff Immelt, to focus on our commitment to ensuring that the number of women in technical roles at the company was at least matching the percentage of women that were graduating and holding degrees in that space. That seems like a very fair assessment. We can at least say that of the 50,000+ women that work here, we need to ensure that for the volume of roles that exist, that 50,000 matches the percentage of women in technology roles in the world. And that's what we set out to do. And we were doing that through hiring practices and training practices and really using data as a way to understand where our technical women worked, the departments and the roles that they were excluded or chose not to be a part of, and how we were going to help ensure that we were a company where women in technology wanted to be. So of course, being an encyclopedia, we are a storytelling company, both within and without. And so we have a stellar team of communicators that have come up with, had come up with a model and a campaign that we were going to use for Black History Month. Last year, I was kind of piecemealing it, and I was working and I would tweet and tell different stories. And we wanted to really get in front of that this year and not just leverage myself or individuals that are Black that work for the foundation, but what were we as an organization going to be able to say? And so they came up with this amazing campaign for the next 4 weeks where they're focusing on government, sports. This week is Women in STEM. So it's all about all the physicists and the scientists and the great women that have gone before us and that are happening right now. And there's a theme each and every week. And so as an organization, we are ensuring that we're highlighting the stories of great Black people. Some, you've heard of because they're traditional, but I also really love the stories that we're telling about the folks no one's heard of or the underdogs in every story. It's one of my favorite components of the campaign when we share stories like Today I Learned, and we talk about women and men in Black history that no one's heard of before, and we get to use our platform to educate and inspire. So that's one of the things that we're doing as an organization. It's fantastic. It's really important that media outlets in the world tell the story of Black people. This is the way that many stories even make it to Wikipedia. People often ask, well, why isn't this story on Wikipedia? Why isn't this person acknowledged? What we like to say is, if it happens in the world, it happens on Wikipedia. If the world is not telling these stories that so very much need to be told, then it's harder for our community to build Wikipedia pages, because we are built on facts, which are citations that exist. So we need other news sources and other media outlets to not just tell the stories that are popular, but to show the world a different perspective of Black people, not just in America, but around the world. Black History Month is just one month that could be dedicated to that. But there's so many great things that we're all doing that, just pick a day, any day, and tell the story. Not only for the world to have a different perspective and experience with us, but so that our youth can see who they can become. And they need to see a variety of opportunities of what the world is offering them. And one of the ways that that's going to happen is they need to see and hear about people like us in the work that we're doing. When folks say, all right, so you got your VEEP, are you happy now? No, that's just one amazing and wonderful woman in one powerful role. We don't need to stop there. We always need to take into account the power that women bring to every room that they come into. From our experiences, our life experiences, our lifestyle experiences, all of it is so powerful and so necessary. And so let's not stop with, is one enough? I don't know that we ask that question of any other gender or race that's in the room. Hey, we have enough of whatever in this room. No, not so. I say let's continue to appreciate and value the work and what we're bringing into every room. And the way that we do that is, again, in the teams that we build and the people that we're hiring, one of the questions that you asked me was, how did I champion women in these roles? One, we have to be in a position where we are able to handle the budget that builds the teams. So I own a budget. I have the ability to hire people. I'm going to create a diverse slate and I'm going to allow a diversity of visible candidates to be seen, and then we're going to hire. We're going to be very intentional about who we hire. It's in the businesses that we support and the products that we use and the shout outs that we give and the stories that we write. Let's make that a part of everything that we do. And one thing that I will continue to push around media is I love the stories that Black media writes about Black people, but we need all media talking about the power of all people, and we are a part of that. And so it can't stop at one outlet. It's got to be all of them, because this is how it penetrates into various markets and into various spaces. Who doesn't want to see themselves in images and in imagery that we look at every single day? I love the intention of what pocstock is doing, and that they've been so intentional, and even down to the name. This is what it's about. It's about creating images and visual experiences for people of color. And so for me, Include Us is a campaign that to me, it can transcend anything. Include Us can transcend stories on Wikipedia to imagery and pocstock, you name it. It's like the hashtag that can go anywhere and everywhere. And I love that about it, because it's so diverse in that message. And in this case, it is in the message of pocstock. We need this platform so that we can go places and say, I'm building a story model or a presentation or a visual, and I need, imagery that's got a diversity of hands and faces and looks and places and spaces and attire, clothing, everything, hairstyles. I mean, this is where this seems like it's going to be the platform where that's going to be. And I hope that the Include Us campaign doesn't I actually hope that it doesn't remain a campaign. I hope that it becomes a movement and that it becomes a strategy that the world picks up and funds and supports and models so that it's something that always stays in front of the people, because campaigns will end over time. And I don't want that for Include Us. I want it to be something that we continue to talk about and leverage and fund and support and use.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.